Hello everybody and welcome to my channel, Unliving the Lie. Here we talk about all things narcissism, sociopathic, and domestic violence. And today's topic that we are going to delve into is, can we find love after narcissistic abuse? This is a big topic. And I'm going to tell you right away, yes, you can find love after narcissistic abuse. Absolutely. If you've made the steps to do your work, if you've made the steps to tell yourself the truth, get out of the cognitive dissonance, understand that you are in an abusive relationship with a narcissist, that if you ever want to have a happy, healthy life, you have to get out of that situation. And then once you're out of the situation, you've gone no contact. In that no contact, you've been doing healing work, working on yourself, getting to know yourself again, falling in love with yourself again, detoxing from the narcissist, doing all your work to heal and to find yourself again. So let's say you've done all that work. You found a coach, you found a therapist, you found a community of people to connect with, and you're feeling really good about your life. You're feeling really good where you're at in your life. And you're starting to think, I think I'm ready for love again. Well, you can there's things that you need to do differently this time. There's a lot of things that you need to do differently this time. The one big thing that you need to keep in mind if you want to find true love after a narcissist and not another toxic person, because that's what happens a lot of times. Instead of really doing the work on yourself to figure out what traumas you still hold within you that need to be healed and released, people push them down, and then they say, oh, well, I'm fine. Just because you push something down and you don't talk about it, you don't accept it, doesn't mean it's not still there ready to be healed. And then they push it down, and then they attract another toxic person. The reason we continue to get toxic people and we stay in a cycle of toxic relationships is because we ignore red flags. We ignore and tolerate bad abusive behaviors because we've been so conditioned to accept those abusive behaviors. So we ignore all the red flags. We ignore all of that stuff. So we continue to tolerate it. We think that, oh, I'm just an easygoing person. I love everybody and I give everybody love and understanding and I go with everything. No, you are never going to find the true love that you really want if you are that person that just goes with the flow and accepts everything. You don't have to go with the flow and accept everything. No, you don't, because most of the time when you're going with the flow, you're accepting things that go against who you are morally and ethically. And you're being, abused and pushed around and manipulated. Because when you, even on a very first date with a narcissist, they are going to press your buttons. They are going to find out your weaknesses and they're going to find out where they can push you. So if they act inappropriately on a first date, they pressure you for sex, or they pressure you for things, or it's too uncomfortable for you and you continue to talk to them, they think that they've won. They think that they've got you. That's what abusers do. So if you want to weed out those types of individuals and you want to start dating again, you have to start loving yourself and listening to yourself, following your gut instinct, not accepting unacceptable behavior. And you are not obligated. If you go on a date with someone, you've dated them for maybe a couple weeks and you just are not feeling it anymore, you're under no obligation to continue seeing them and talking to them just because they took you out to dinner and paid for dinner, just because maybe they bought you flowers or a gift. You are not obligated to be in a relationship with them. You are not obligated to be in a relationship with somebody just because they did something for you. That is codependent behavior. And if you're in that cycle, you are not ready to be dating, and you are not going to meet a loving partner. You are going to continue to meet toxic people, because when you allow the codependency to run you and you allow people to walk all over you and you don't look at the toxic behavior, you dismiss it, and you feel, I'm going to hurt their feelings. I don't want to hurt their feelings because they paid for dinner and they seem like a nice person. You're rationalizing red flags as, oh, that's just who they are. That's just how they are. And you know in your gut that it's not right. But you rationalize it, you tolerate it, because this is all that you've ever known. This is why the healing process is so important. So if you're in that state where you want love again, you want to date someone, you want to, but you're not ready if you're doing any of those things, okay? I'm just going to be blunt and honest. You're not ready to be dating and doing anything romantic with any person because you're still in that mode of not trusting yourself. Because if you trusted yourself and valued yourself, you wouldn't tolerate anything less than what made you feel good and made you happy. A healthy person is going to be able to accept that you have different thoughts and different opinions. If you're on a date with someone and you can tell right away with a narcissist, you can tell right away that they're going to put you down for what you're saying, but they're going to make it a joke. They're going to laugh about things that you say. They're not going to take you seriously. A narcissist will do that right away, even through the love bombing. If you're in tune enough, even during the love bombing, you can see all the red flags from the very beginning. If you're not able to see red flags, and if you do see them and you push them away, you're not ready to be dating. Like, you shouldn't be dating. When you are healthy and you've worked through your stuff and you've really developed a keen sense of who you are and what you want and what you're no longer going to tolerate, you will notice things and you will not be afraid to stand up for yourself. You won't be. And when you're in that energy, you're going to attract the right type of partner. You're going to attract an honest person that wants the same thing that you want. You're going to attract a person that respects you and respects your opinions. They may be like, oh, wow, I've never heard that before. That's interesting. Tell me more. I want to hear more about it. They're going to want to genuinely hear about you. They're going to want to hear about you. They're going to want to get to know you. Of course, they're going to be attracted to you and they're going to be like wanting to be romantic with you, but they're not going to push. They're not going to push you. See, a narcissist right away is going to push boundaries. They're going to probably say within a week, oh, you're my soulmate. I love you so much. Oh my gosh, I think we should move in together. You've only known each other a month and you're moving in together. That is a huge red flag. Do not ever do that again. That is something that you should never, ever do again. I am guilty of doing that. That is not a loving, healthy relationship. A loving, healthy relationship does not start off with you like, oh, move into my house, like after a month of knowing me. No, because then you're going to start to see all the red flags and there's no reason to be doing that. You want to get to know this person, so you want lasting, true love. So so some people want to know, well, what does that have to do with me loving myself and trusting myself? What does that have to do with me finding true, lasting love? It has everything to do with finding true, lasting love. Because when you love yourself, when you truly love yourself and you discover who you are as a human being, your likes, your dislikes, what you want out of a partner, and 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 all of that, you're not going to settle for anything less than what you want. You've worked hard for who you are. You've worked hard for your money. You've worked hard for your home. You've worked hard for your, maybe you got your body back into shape. You're taking care of yourself, your animals, your children, your life. You're enjoying your life. You're enjoying the fact that you have taken your power back. And your life is very fulfilling. You have a career you enjoy, or you're starting a business, or your hobbies. You have a lot of interests and a lot of things that make you feel fulfilled. Okay? And that's makes you happy and you're in love with your life. When you're in that position, that sweet spot, then you're ready to dip your toe into the dating pool to connect with other people. And you're probably going to be pleasantly surprised to see that you meet a lot of really good people. And you may be like dating more than one person and getting to know more than one person and just having a good time. And I encourage that. Date more than one person. Because what happens is when you have struggled with codependency in the past and you have been overcoming it and you feel like you've got a good handle on it, your codependency can be triggered if you start exclusively focusing on one person too fast. Then you'll start getting fixated on that one person. Oh, he didn't text me. He didn't call me back. Oh no, what's going on? He doesn't really like me. That's dangerous water that you're in. You're not in a healthy place to be dating. That's your codependency. So to alleviate that codependency, talk to more than one person. Get to know people. Keep it casual. Just connect. Make friends. And feel safe and secure within yourself and your life that like, oh, I don't need this person to fulfill me. I don't need this person to fulfill anything. I'm not going to get sucked into by this person. And in fact, when this person starts pushing my boundaries and they start wanting to, spend the night and they start wanting to see me all the time. And then they get funny when I tell them, look, I'm going to go hang out with my grandma this weekend. And then they start pouting and getting upset with you. And that's a red flag. that's somebody that is insecure and codependent or toxic, maybe not a narcissist, but that's a red flag. So you have to be in a position to be willing to end and cut off these dating situations. And you can't cut off these dating situations when you allow yourself to get sucked in so quickly to one person, usually a narcissist, because that's what narcissists do. They move fast, hard, and heavy right away, and they get you. And then before you realize it, because this is what happened to me, my abuser sucked me in with making me feel sorry for him because he's a homeless crack addict, but he was very good looking and very funny, but he sucked me in so hard and so fast, so quick, that he's living in my home. And I'm just like thinking, what the fuck did I do? Candace, what did you do? Like, this monster is living with you now, and he's dangerous and he's abusive. And it was just a whole giant mess that I honestly did get myself into because I ignored red flags. I dismissed red flags. I felt obligated because this man was very funny, good looking, made me laugh. Like, I was very physically attracted to this person, extremely physically attracted to this person. And I thought, oh, well, he's so honest. He's just telling me that he's struggling with a drug addiction. And after a month, or it was not quite a month, it was like 3 months maybe, he was living in my home. And I have so many red flags from even our texting conversations. There were red flags that I ignored. He would get mad at me if I didn't return his text right away. And this was before we even met. But yet, what did I do? I continued to text him. I was under no obligation to continue texting that man. Under no obligation, but I continued to do it. So he knew, as a predator, as a sociopath, he knew he had me. He just knew. That's what predators do. But you can step up. You can be a step above the predator and understand the predator behavior and understanding yourself and your weaknesses that they prey upon. And yes, these are weaknesses that we have, our codependency, whether that comes from childhood trauma, childhood abuse, whether it comes from being rejected by other partners in the past, we've developed this codependency. Figuring out where you develop the codependency, where you develop this need to make other people feel happy, and this fear of telling other people no, and this fear of rejecting other people that you have, it came from somewhere in your past, in your childhood. And these are the things that we need to work on. These are the things I work on with my one-on-one clients. When my one-on-one clients come to me to connect with me, they always think, oh, they're going to talk about the narcissist. And yes, we're going to talk about the narcissist. We are going to have a conversation about them. But the root of the problem is not really the narcissist. The root of the problem is the trauma from your childhood. And so really getting to the bottom of where these feelings of unworthiness come from, these feelings of like, I'm not good enough, or if I say no to this person, that's just going to be the end of the world. That is a huge red flag for codependency. So if you're dating a person, even if you've dated them a couple months, 6 months, and these red flags keep adding up, you need to cut your losses and end it. And you're under no obligation to continue the relationship. End it soon. That's what the narcissist will count on. They count on you not being strong enough to end it soon. That's why they move so hard and so fast and so quickly, because they want you to be confused, and they want you to be in a whirlwind of like, oh, this person's so wonderful, this person's so great, and they preyed upon your vulnerability. Mine was my loneliness, because my husband had passed away and we'd been separated for a couple of years. So I'd really been by myself for quite a while. And it was my loneliness that he played upon. I didn't need him financially. I didn't need any financial support. I didn't need anything like that. It was just an emotional need that I had. I felt lonely. So I was very vulnerable to his machinations. I was very vulnerable to his game. And that is what happened. I don't like to say we attract them, because that's victim shaming. That's saying that there's something inherently wrong with me, that this person, that I attracted this to myself. No, we were vulnerable to a predator. The predator preyed upon us because they saw our vulnerabilities. We didn't attract that. We didn't go around and be like, oh, I can't wait, I'm just deliberately wanting to be with these toxic people. No, nobody deliberately wants to be abused. And to say that you attract it, to me, is victim shaming. We were vulnerable and we became the target of a narcissist. But now, to find true love, we are no longer going to be vulnerable. We are going to be strong and powerful. We are going to know our worthiness and our love for ourselves. And the only way to get to that place is to really, really do your healing work on yourself, telling yourself the truth. In my methods that I do with my clients when I work with them, that is the number one thing. We tell ourselves the truth. We understand what cognitive dissonance is. We poke our head up out of our shells and be like, look, I know I'm scared. I'm afraid. There's so many variables as to why we're afraid to leave the narcissist. But we have to look at them. We have to tell ourselves the truth. We have to tell ourselves the truth. We are in an abusive relationship. That is the number one thing you have to tell yourself first and foremost. Before anything anything changes, you must tell yourself the truth. I'm in an abusive relationship. There, I told myself the truth. Now what? What's the next step? The next step is maybe making a safety plan. And then acting on that safety plan and going no contact. And then when you're going no contact, you stay no contact and you stick to it. You may relapse here and there, but stay no contact. And part of that, what has to happen during that is the community, the recovery process, finding a good therapist, finding a good coach, finding a support group, finding social support, staying in where you need to be to find yourself and get yourself back. Because you were in the narcissist world. You were in their world of hell and their reality. They were forcing you to live a lie. This is why I coined the phrase, I trademarked unliving the lie. Because we were living a lie with the narcissist. And maybe we were living a lie our entire lives from our abusive narcissistic family. That could be true too. But during that process, when we go through those steps, we have to unlive the lie. We have to tell ourselves the truth. Unlive the lie. Find yourself. Find your healing. Find your balance. Find your footing. Find what you want. And love is possible after narcissistic abuse. It's very, very possible after narcissistic abuse. I mean, I can tell you 1,000% it is possible to find love after narcissistic abuse. But the first love that you need to find is the love of yourself, the worthiness of yourself. That's the first love you need to find. You need to discover yourself, love yourself. Love yourself enough to the point where you are completely happy in your own existence without any romantic partner. And this brings me to another point that I want to make too, that it seems very common in our society where we reward martyrdom. We reward the martyr. We reward that strong woman that's all by herself and she does everything by herself and she doesn't need anybody to do anything for her. She does it all on her own. That is a trauma response. That's not a strong woman. That's not an alpha woman. I know there's a little catchphrase thing that goes around on TikTok that alpha women don't run in packs, that they're loners. That's not true. That's a lie that our society continues to perpetuate. It is a lie because women as a whole, especially if you identify as a female, if you identify as a female gender, you know that we are communal. We do run in packs, whether that pack is our family blood or our friends, our community, whatever. That pack may be you and another best friend. It may just be 2 of you, 3 of you. It doesn't matter. We as the female species, if you identify as a female body, as a female energy, we are pack creatures. Look out in nature. Look at the animals, the elephants. The pack is the females. The male is solitary. So when I hear that rhetoric, that narrative that, oh, the strong alpha females, they don't run in packs. They're all by themselves. That is such a lie. That is trauma. That is a broken female. That is a woman that has been damaged. That is a woman that does not trust. She is afraid of being hurt. So she self-isolates. And that is very, 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 very common after narcissistic abuse and domestic violence for a woman to self-isolate and to stay away from everybody and deliberately. Self-isolation is not the same thing as enjoying being alone. When you enjoy your own company and being alone, being without a partner, you don't necessarily self-isolate. You have friends. You have things that you do. You're not afraid of your community. You're not afraid of telling your story. You're not afraid of sharing. You have friends. You have other things in your life, but you love being alone in your own home with your animals and just you. And you're perfectly happy with that. That is not the same thing at all as a woman standing and saying, well, I can do it all by myself. I don't need anybody. I'm a strong woman. I'm an alpha woman. I'm strong. I don't need anybody. That's a trauma response. That's not a strong woman. That's a broken woman. And this is why I know. And this is the reason I'm bringing this up, because it's important. Because in that energy, you will never find, a woman that stands in that energy, which is actually masculine energy she's standing in, because females, if you identify as a female, as a feminine, you will understand that we are pack. We do run in packs. I don't care if people don't like that phrase or not, but we do run in packs. We do. We have our community of other women and people that we connect with. That is masculine to be solitary. The masculine energy is more solitary. Yes, men have their crew and their guys and their buddies, but it is the masculine that is the solitary. The feminine is not solitary. So when I see a woman doing that, I know she's damaged and I know she's in deep pain. It has nothing to do with being powerful. In fact, it is very weak. It's a weakness, because your power and your strength as a power being powerful. In fact, it is very weak. It's a weakness, because your power and your strength as a powerful female alpha, powerful woman, she has a tribe. She has a community of other women that she connects with. She has a community of other women that she connects with and she shares her pain with. She stands up from her trauma and her pain, and she may be standing there bleeding and gushing blood and in so much pain, but she stands there in her group and she shares. She shares her pain, and in her sharing her pain, she uplifts other women in her group. That's an alpha female. That's a powerful female, because what she's doing is helping those other women stand up in their power and help them stand up and find their tribe and help. And it goes on and on and on. That is the nature of female power, is when we uplift each other and hold each other in a community. And I'm not saying that you have to have like 100, you don't have to have like a bunch of women in your community. Maybe it's just your family. Maybe it's your 3 best friends, or maybe it's your sisters and your cousins and your relatives. It doesn't matter. But the truth of the matter is, females, we crave communal connection with each other. I even had a boyfriend years ago tell me that there's one thing he envies about what women have that men don't have, is when you're suffering or you have pain, you go to each other and you talk to each other and you lift each other up, where men are much more likely to self-isolate. And that's a whole cultural thing. I'm not going to get into that too much for the sake of this video, but men as a general rule, it's hard. They don't have that amongst each other like women do. So when we see a man standing on his own, doing his own thing, we see that as more of, yeah, that's, because I know it can go both ways, that men need a community too. Men need to gather each other and lift each other up as well too. So when there's a man doing that, that's also can be a red flag as well, that he's broken and healing and doesn't trust. But for general, my audience is generally women. I work with women to help women build happy, healthy relationships. So I do have a few men that connect with me, but my work is mostly with women that are overcoming abuse and domestic violence. And when I see a woman standing and saying, oh, well, I'm strong and I don't need anybody, I know she's not strong. I know she's very weak in that moment. It is a myth, it is a lie that our society perpetuates. This strong woman is all by herself. And that's not true. A strong woman has her community and her sisterhood. However that might show up for you is how it shows up for you. Everybody's unique, but a strong woman has her community that she holds dear to her, and she uplifts and she shares her pain with her community, and those other women stand up and share their pain, and then it goes on and on, like I just said. That is so important to the healing process. That is so, so important to the healing process, because it helps you to be vulnerable. And when you want a healthy relationship, romantic relationship, you must be able to trust and be vulnerable. If you cannot trust and be vulnerable with your own tribe and your own community of people, you are not going to trust and be vulnerable with a romantic partner. That is a huge aspect of finding true love, again, in a healthy way. Healthy relationships require you to trust and be vulnerable with that person, and to trust that that person is going to hold space for you and nurture you. And you cannot trust that if you've been damaged and hurt by toxic, abusive narcissists. So when you detox from the narcissist, you detox. In that detox process of detoxing from the narcissist, you are learning that all of that stuff the narcissist told you was a lie, and you are valid, and you are worthy, and you are beautiful. And when you really detox from them, and you've really healed, you stand in your truth, you tell your truth, you uplift others in telling your truth, you share your story, you share your pain, you give back to others, and you help. You're open to receive. When you're not open to receive, when you close off, you are blocking yourself from love. So that woman that isolates herself and says she's strong and doesn't need anybody is blocking herself from love. And when you're in that position, which is a trauma response, you will not find love again. You will self-isolate, and it is a choice. It is a choice that you are making. No one can, tell you otherwise. If that's where you want to be, like if you were a client of mine and that's where you want to be, I would have to honor that place that you choose to be. But I would also want you to understand it's your choice. You're choosing to be there. You're choosing to stay in that place, but I will honor that place if that's where you're choosing to stay in the moment, and I will work with you where you're at right then and there. You're self-isolating. At least what I will do is get you to tell yourself the truth, though. I'm going to at least work with you to get you to admit that that's what you're doing. And I've had many clients that do, and they're scared and they admit it. But at least I'm going to get you to admit that that's where you're at. Tell yourself the truth. Like, okay, so you're self-isolating. Can we talk about why you're self-isolating? You're scared. Okay, that's where you're at. We can talk about that all day long if you want. So I'm always going to meet you where you're at. And when I talk about these things, these are not to criticize anybody or to make anybody feel bad. These are to help you to look within and tell yourself the truth and be honest with yourself, because you're watching this, you're connecting with me because you do. You want a happy, healthy life. You want to break free from all the destruction that the narcissist put on your life. You want to break free. You want to find happiness. You want to find peace. And maybe peace for you is not a romantic partner, and that is perfectly fine. If you've done all the work that I just described, you've worked on yourself, you've connected with others, you've healed yourself, you find meaning in many different ways in your life is so fulfilled and so full that you're not interested in finding a romantic partner. And that is perfectly fine, because that's the moment you're going to find the romantic partner, when you're in that mindset. So that's actually the perfect mindset to be in to find love. I mean, that's the truth. That's the mindset you want to be in to find love in the first place. So if you're in that mindset, you are so healthy and in such a good place that that person's just going to show up and knock you off your socks. That's how it's going to happen. So that is really a healthy place to be, enjoying your own company, enjoying the things in your own life, and not needing another person. See, the problem is when we think we need another human being, or we need this, that's the codependency. I need to have another person to take care of, because by taking care of this man baby, I feel valuable. But after a while, taking care of that man baby, you start to feel used and angry and bitter and resentful. And that does not do good for your soul, and it does not do good for you. So, to wrap things up, finding love again after narcissistic abuse is absolutely possible. And you will find love again if you really want to. But the first thing you must do is do the work within yourself. Do the work within yourself. Tell yourself the truth. Admit where you are on your path. Where are you at in the healing process? Are you still in the relationship with the narcissist? So then first thing you need to do is admit that you are in an abusive relationship. That's your very first step. So if you're still in a relationship with the narcissist, your first thing to admit to is you're in an abusive relationship. The second thing is narcissists don't change. Me giving the narcissist love and compassion isn't going to give me love in return. That I need to love myself. And to love myself, I need to get away from the narcissist, because the narcissist is never going to fulfill me, because they are dead and they are empty, and they're going to continue to abuse me. So telling yourself the truth, that's your first step that you need to do. So let's say that you're not, and you already did that, and you're in the stages of going no contact. You're in those stages. So those first steps are, okay, am I self-isolating? Am I talking to people? Am I ignoring my friends' phone calls? Am I rejecting invitations to do things with other people because I'm afraid I won't know anybody there, so I'm deliberately self-isolating? Tell yourself the truth. I'm not telling you to force yourself to go to an event you don't want to go to, but I want you to tell yourself the truth. Tell yourself the truth. Why are you not going? Why are you ignoring your friend's phone call? Tell yourself the truth. You're ignoring your friend's phone call because you just can't handle it right now. And that's okay too. Tell yourself the truth. Admit where you're at. Admit where you're at on the healing journey. Don't push things down and then say, well, I'm a strong woman. No, a strong woman, we already went over what a strong woman does. Self-isolation is not what a strong woman does. And it's okay. You can be a strong woman again. And then after that, so you're in that stage, then maybe you're getting out of that stage and you're starting to, maybe you took a yoga class, maybe you took an art class, maybe you got a bike and you want to start a new exercise routine, whatever it is. You want to start a new hobby. You're starting to go out to lunch with your girlfriends. You're starting to feel good about yourself. Stay on that path for a little while. Stay on that path for a little while. Maybe you think, okay, I'm going to go to lunch with this guy that I met for coffee. Okay, go meet him for coffee. And then as soon as you feel that codependent trigger, though, you pay attention to yourself the next day. Maybe you really liked that guy that you had coffee with. Maybe you thought he was great, you thought he was cute, but then he didn't text you the next day, and you felt that old familiar feeling creeping up into your gut, that old familiar codependent feeling creeping up inside your body because he didn't text you back after the coffee date. Pay attention to that feeling. If you got that old familiar creepy codependent feeling coming up because he didn't text you back, you're not ready to be dating. You still have more work to do. You still have more time and discovery of yourself and loving of yourself to do. Be patient with yourself, but always tell yourself the truth and pay attention. Because if you don't pay attention to that creepy feeling that comes up in your gut after you had a coffee date with a nice guy, and just because he didn't text you back, maybe he wasn't interested, maybe he didn't have the same feelings as you did. It happens. It doesn't make him a bad person, but that shit happens. You have to be able to handle that. If you can't handle that, you shouldn't be dating. You should not be trying to find a romantic partner at all. And you won't find the right kind of romantic partner if you're in that place. So when you feel that icky feeling coming up, and you know that feeling where you start to panic and get anxiety, oh my God, he doesn't like me. That's codependency. That's codependency rearing its ugly head. So if the codependency starts rearing up and this guy that you met for coffee doesn't text you back, and you want to know why, and you're texting your girlfriends, he didn't text me back, should I text him? Don't text him back. That'll be another video. Do not text him back. Do not do anything. Get within yourself, tell yourself the truth. I'm acting codependent. My codependency's been triggered. I'm not ready to be dating because this is not how I want to feel. This is not how I want to feel when I date someone. I want to feel good most of the time. Most of the time, I want to feel good. And this feeling is not a good feeling. And I don't want to feel this way anymore. Tell yourself the truth. Get to the bottom of it. Maybe I'm not ready to be going on dates. So Mr. Coffee Man didn't text me back. That's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to pay attention. And then maybe a month goes by and Coffee Man texts you, and you've done so much work in that month, you're realizing, no, I dodged a bullet with that one. Why did he wait a month to text me back? And then you're not even going to want nothing to do with the coffee date guy. I'm telling you guys, this is what you need to do. Always tell yourself the truth. Stay the course on your healing journey. Pay attention. If you resonate with anything that I'm saying, connect with me. I take clients. You can book sessions with me. We can talk one-on-one. You can join my peer support group on Facebook. Go to the link below, email me, check out my website, check out all my social media. If you just go to my website in the comments below, you can email me, connect with me. But the thing is, you want a happy, healthy relationships on your terms. Whether those happy, healthy relationships are just friendships or romantic, you deserve happy, healthy relationships. You cannot have happy, healthy relationships when you're not healthy. That's the whole bottom line. When you're not healthy, you tolerate abusive behavior. You see that abusive behavior as normal because you're not healthy. You've been being mistreated all of your life, and you have grown accustomed to believing that that is how your life is, and that's just the way it is. And I'm telling you, it's not true. It's not normal. It's toxic, and you deserve happy, healthy relationships on your terms. Absolutely. And you can have that. You can have that. But the first thing you have to do is tell yourself the truth. Detox from all the abusive people in your life and discover yourself. Discover what you want, what you love, what makes you feel happy. And then when something creeps in that disrupts that happiness, pay attention to it. See it for what it is. See it as a trauma trigger. See it as a trauma response, and see it. Don't deny it. Don't push it away. Don't stand up and say, well, I'm a strong woman and I can deal with anything. Don't do that. None of that is conducive to your healing and to being receptive to feeling love. I will definitely delve deeper into these topics. If you have any questions about this, if you want me to do more topics on this, on dating and finding partners after abuse, let me know. I will do more topics on these. I will delve deeper into these topics if this is a need that you guys have. But telling yourself the truth is the main thing. Staying the course on your healing process wherever you are in the cycle of narcissistic abuse, whether you are on the other side of it and you've stepped out of the abuse and you're healing, or whether you're just now in that cycle willing to tell yourself the truth. All it takes is one step. Take a step, take a step, take a step, but always, always tell yourself the truth. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. If you loved this video, please like, please subscribe, please share it with anybody that you think would find value in this. Maybe you have a friend that you think could really get value from this. Please share this with your friends. Share this with anybody that you think could get value from this. So, all right, everybody, thank you so much, and we will talk again soon.